What does it look like when a decade of purpose, passion, and persistence comes full circle? For Amanda Reddy, she got to ring the closing bell at the NASDAQ in 2024, 10 years after launching Ready to Empower. Welcome to the Today's the Day Changemakers podcast. In this episode, I sit down with Amanda Reddy, a licensed mental health counselor and founder of Ready to Empower, a nonprofit organization. Also joining us is Jasmeet Singh, a seasoned business leader and dedicated board member of Ready to Empower. Amanda has spent over a decade creating space for women around the world to heal emotionally, mentally, and financially by building access to mental health support, education, and job training. Jasmeet brings her leadership and insight to the mission in a way that is both grounding and inspiring. We talk honestly about what it means to give yourself grace on the days when you're just not okay, the kind of connection that helps keep you going, and why mental health conversations can't be optional anymore. They have to be part of how we lead, how we support, and how we live. I teared up during this one because when someone is truly aligned with their purpose, you can really feel it, even if it's through the Zoom screen. Amanda's work doesn't just empower women, it reminds all of us that real change starts with compassion, courage, and consistency. To learn more about Ready to Empower, go to readytoempower.org or send an email to info@readytoempower.org. Don't forget to please subscribe to the Today's the Day Changemakers podcast YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Today is the Day Live It. More than a podcast, this is a movement to help people globally connect. Go to todayisthedayliveit.com and sign up for our newsletter and learn more about how you can share your story and be part of this community. Now let's get into it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Today's the Day Changemakers podcast. I am your host, Jody Grinwald, and as I say, every single episode, I interview the changemakers, the inspirers, and those who are disrupting the status quo in the best way possible. And I love it when I have two guests at the same time because we have such a great conversation. Today, I have Jasmeet Singh and Amanda Reddy. Hi, how are you both?
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Great to be here.
Good morning. Good morning. And we over here where we are today, it's raining, so we're all kind of like, it's not the most happiest sunny day, but we're making it sunny by the three of us being together today. So I'm gonna read what I always read a little bit of everybody's bio to let everybody know who you are, and then we'll get into a really great conversation. Sound good?
Great.
Right.
Great.
So Jasmeet is an experienced business operations and finance leader with a career spanning across both pharmaceutical and financial service industries, including spending early part of her career as a consultant and financial auditor. Jasmeet was also part of a technology startup where she was part of the launch team for their first customer. Through her career, she has been responsible for leading various teams to define and execute business strategies, launch new commercial products. I'm losing my voice. Served as chief of staff as well as defining portfolio strategies. She currently leads a patient services team with a large pharmaceutical company to ensure patients can access and afford critical therapies. And you are on the board of Amanda Reddy's nonprofit organization, Ready to Empower, correct, Jasmeet?
That's exactly right. Thank you.
Welcome, welcome. And now Amanda Reddy is a licensed mental health counselor, licensed professional counselor, entrepreneur, and advocate dedicated to empowering individuals through mental health, wellness, education, and job training. She provides the support both in the U.S. and globally through her private practice, Ready Therapy practice, and her nonprofit work. She's the founder of Ready to Empower, a U.S.-based foundation operating for nearly 12 years. Amanda has been instrumental in helping women gain healing, independence, and self-sufficiency through mental health support. She has won several awards, and I'll just name a few, Amanda, recognized by the NASDAQ for her work with Ready to Empower in 2024. 2018, awarded the Humanitarian of the Year by I'm Here for the Ladies and You for advocating women's empowerment. And 2015, received the Amway Hero Award, and there's more. So welcome to both of you. I'm so happy to have you on. So Amanda, I'll start with you first, and I always like to do this and go backwards a little bit. So where were you born and brought up?
Originally I was born in Alabama. So I spent the majority of my life in Alabama. That's why I still have an accent. But I have been, I would say up north here, close to 16 or 17 years in the Connecticut, New York area. Spent a little time in Texas for about 3 years as well. So
You moved around just a little bit. Sounds
yeah,
like that sounds like fun.
yeah. I didn't know I'd end up north, but here I am. I've been here quite a while now. So this is
Right,
home.
from Alabama to the northern East Coast over here. Is
Yeah.
that good for you? I love it. Jasmeet, what about you? Where were you brought up?
I was actually born in New Delhi, India. So I actually am very much the American dream immigrant story. So my parents migrated here for that better life. And I'm fortunate enough that their dreams came true, that I'm able to be here and to talk to you all about it.
Wow. We're all fortunate to be listening to what you're about to share with us. And I just want to make an announcement too. We have just been downloaded in 96 countries and 1,026 cities around the globe with the podcast. So your voices are definitely being heard globally as we post this podcast in a little bit. So Amanda, talk to me a little bit about who did you want to be when you grew up?
Well, I mean, I think more than anything, I just wanted to know that when I grew up, I just wanted to be able to be like take care of myself and have freedom. I just remember thinking when I grew up, I just wanted to have freedom to do things and live the life that I wanted to live. So I think that's when I grew up, I just wanted that. I think that's what I thought was exciting, or I thought was the best way to live your life is under your terms. So maybe that's the best answer I can give.
I've grown up to think that as a young girl. So I think that's great. And what about you, Jasmine?
Yeah, I would say, it's funny if I think about from a profession perspective, you took me back to, I think I actually wanted to be a teacher. I used to pretend to have like my little pretend classroom, and so that was kind of like my profession, but like as I reflect upon it, it's really, I think one of the things that always has been part of my core is just connecting with people and engaging with people. So I think some of the things that I've done through my career, professionally as well as, outside of work, has really been about how do you bring people together and how do you connect those dots to just do something greater than you.
And connection is at the core of everything about what we do through today is the day because we connect to everything in our lives, from the clothes we wear, the cars we drive, to the people we surround ourselves with. So I love what you said about connection. So Amanda, you're kind of you straddle two things right now, right? You have your full-time gig, like so many of us are listening, right? There's a full-time gig and the passion project is what it's called. A lot of people call it what they've started that just feels really, really good. So talk to us first about where your career has led you to and that you're doing on the full-time side.
So yeah, I work in my private practice, Ready Therapy practice. I've been doing that for so many years. That is definitely what my skill sets are, is in the mental health world. And so I provide individual therapy, family therapy, couples therapy, but specifically focus on with anxiety, helping a wide variety of issues. So that's what sustains me on a daily basis. Is also what has trickled down into my personal life in trying to give access to mental health services to other communities that are not as privileged to be able to have the opportunity to improve their mental health, since it is such a global need all over the world. Just trying to do contribute to adding value to other places to also benefit from mental health services. So my day-to-day job is mental health work, and then my volunteer work that I do with the organization is also mental health work. So that's kind of been my journey from the beginning of doing therapy, is working with a variety of people and teaching a lot of people and providing mental health education since, I don't know, my educational field. I didn't know I was going to end up being a therapist, but I'll be honest, I chose it because I was like, what's the least amount of math? And then it turned out to be really great, and it's worked out to be a fabulous career, but everybody has a beautiful story. And I go, well, I just kind of went in and said, hey, which of these have the least amount of math? Okay, that's for me. And it worked out wonderfully.
So I love that because that's everything I've ever done has math is definitely not my favorite subject either. So I totally get that. Thank you for sharing that. That's great.
Yeah.
Um, Jasmeet, what about you? Daytime job, you want to tell us? I know I read a little bit. Do you want to share a little bit more?
Sure. Yeah, as you mentioned, I'm really a corporate business person, if you will, in my day job. I'm actually in the pharmaceutical industry now, as you mentioned. One of the things that maybe I'll talk about. So in my day job, what I'm doing is helping identify organizational problems? What are the solutions to activate? How do you build those solutions? How do you sustain them, scale them? And when you do it in a big company, it certainly brings its own set of challenges. But what I really, think about as I connect my professional conversation to the work that we do with Ready to Empower, I've been part of the business of our neuroscience franchise within my organization, where we have brought to market products that address mental health challenges, whether it's be depression, whether it's be schizophrenia. So I've seen from that perspective of what happens when patients are not treated. It can be detrimental, certainly for the patients, for their lives, and we know sometimes even tragic ends in tragedy. So what I love about Ready to Empower is what Amanda has built over the last 12 years of bringing a proactive solution. So really getting in front of it, so we're not on the other side of where I see it, of where we're having to prescribe drugs in a very dire scenario. So having a program that addresses how do we get in front of these women and how do we get in front of these communities to really help them. I just really love that connection of what I do in my day job and how I'm able to kind of do a little portion of it on the professionals, on the personal side as well.
Yeah, I love that. That makes perfect sense. It really is, talk about connection, great connection between those
Yeah.
two. So Amanda, you work in the mental health every day, all day, right? And so what was it that had you decide to launch a nonprofit, and share the name, please, as well?
Well, the nonprofit's Ready to Empower. My last name's Amanda Reddy. I just had a good last name, so I just been using it in my private practice. I just keep going. I wasn't an athlete, so I had to go somewhere. But on a real note, to be honest, and I think this is important for people to hear, there was no plan to go out and say, this is what I'm going to do. I decided many years ago, I had quit my job to go help in Costa Rica, simply to just improve my level of Spanish as a therapist so that I could speak in real time. I was going to be there for 3 months, and that was it. It was more of giving back. I truly believe in volunteering. I believe in what it does cathartically for people, for their mental health. It's a huge plus for people to find purpose and meaning. And so part of my identity is in that arena of knowing that, giving back. So I went simply for that and to improve my Spanish simultaneously. And then, within those 3 months, a lot changed, a lot happened. And here we are 12 years from now with an organization being built through this. So I just want to clarify, it wasn't sought out for. But what happens when you get a lot of education and experience, your skills just come into play in real time, and you're not really thinking about what you're doing, but you're making it happen. So I think that's the best way to say it.
No, that's great to know that it wasn't something that like was this big dream to create. It just came out of something you experienced. But you had to obviously take steps to make it happen. So what pushed you, right? And I always have this thing is when your why is greater than your how, right? That's my and sometimes we don't know how to start things. And people who are listening may feel stuck, or they would love to have that moment where they're pushed to do something that they just really feel connected to. What was it that took you to that next level to say, I need to do this? What happened?
To be honest with you, I think if anyone who's listening or you yourself have ever had to go to therapy, it is quite expensive. It's really hard time commitment wise to do that. Being someone who's a therapist, but who also has been in therapy throughout my journey, what it is I was in the community and I just saw the need. And so it started with me focusing on mental health. And then through those mental health conversations with the women in the communities, I went around just kind of interviewing women. I was working in Orgasitos for a couple months, and Orgasitos are just small, like orphanages where they're trying to, they have the kids placed there. My point is, I was in those orphanages and realized I wasn't really moving the needle on much. I was volunteering, but I wasn't really changing anything. And so I had a lot of experience in social work and a lot of experience at working with women. And so I decided to do surveys within the community and just find out what needs, how many wanted their children back, how many did not want their children back due to trauma. And by collecting that data and just taking local Costa Ricans to help me collect this data, I was able to find really quick that if I was going to help the children in any way, I would obviously have to start with their moms, because if I could get them equipped to empower themselves and have those resources, then it would trickle down into the community and to the family. So the focus just shifted because of the need, and then trying to think strategically. So for me, I have to be honest, if I look back and think, oh my God, how did that all start? That's a little overwhelming for my brain. I just would say this: instead of just wanting to help, if you just do one thing at a time, little by little, consistently, not big ideas, just consistently do little over. And that's what happened little by little. I started with individual therapy, then it was family therapy, then it was job training. We started getting them support in the community. Then we're helping them develop resources for themselves. And what I say by that, when people see that you're a mover and a shaker, but you actually follow through with what you say you're going to do, people will rise up and support you. So what I will say is that probably was the gas in my tank, is that people saw, this is working. This girl's really serious. She really wants to do something. And then as people were believing in me, it gave me the momentum to keep going, and the resources and the education, because I'm learning from so many people. So I think that's more of what kept me going, was seeing, oh, well, people believe in this. People are trusting me, and so that was probably the gas that kept me going.
Tell everybody, that's incredible. Tell everybody what your programs entail.
Okay, so Ready to Empower has two main programs, but our first program is called the Ready Empowerment Program. Again, it's been operating for almost 12 years now, and we have primarily been working in Costa Rica for all of those years, but we also have a small partnership in India as well. Basically, what the Ready Empowerment Program is a mental health program. We generally believe that mental health is the catalyst for change, and when women come into the program, they're able to access 5.5 months of individual therapy, free of cost. They don't have to pay anything. And then they're able to also get empowering group therapy and empowering workshops that have anything to do with life skills, human rights, self-esteem, anxiety, and everything from sexual health and sexual education. We believe that if we give them kind of those main grounding tools, they're really able to not only empower themselves, but empower their families and their communities. So our first program is the Ready Empowerment Program. But let me just be clear about how we make this work. So the why is we believe mental health, right? But what we do is we find organizations that really focus on women, but really want to elevate their offering. And they may already have mental health, but they don't have enough resources to expand their services. So we come in and provide them the seed money to use our Ready Empowerment Program. We guide them on how to do it. And then we require them to also work towards sustainability. So they're not solely relying on Ready to Empower to keep the program going for the entirety of their journey. So it's a Ready Empowerment Program grant that's a mental health program. And basically we give it to organizations to help them be able to expand the work that they're already doing so fabulously. And then our second program is Ready Empower Ed, and this is our newest initiative. This is our first initiative that we're doing stateside in the US. We've predominantly been internationally, and so this is a great program. What we do is we offer this to school systems and corporate companies as well. We go in and teach mental health wellness, presentations, lectures, workshops, small group coaching on every type of mental health that they have a need for within their organization, their school system, and then we tailor those offerings to that. And we go into the schools and teach that. And this is a really important piece of our program, because the Ready Empower Ed not only helps expand locally in the US, but it also helps us generate revenue to sustain our mission for Ready to Empower. So now we're not solely reliant on donations in order to keep us afloat. So it's a really exciting time for Ready to Empower, but those are our two main programs, both mental health centric.
Well, congratulations, because it's a true accomplishment, especially when you're working overseas. And I'm assuming you've gone back and forth
Oh,
quite
yeah.
some a lot, quite a
I feel
lot.
like Costa Rica is like my third home. We've got New York, we got Northeast Alabama, and then I got Costa Rica. I know it very well now.
And I hear it's absolutely beautiful. My daughter went there and she fell in love with it. So I
Oh.
hear it's a beautiful place to visit. When you say we are doing the trainings here on stateside, who's the we?
So the we is our board is a working board. It's a fabulous board, because most boards, not all are working boards, right? But everybody on our team not only is helping with our programs, helping oversee them, working together. The we is the board and all the volunteers are Ready to Empower. We have a specific team for each program. And so between all of our board members and volunteers, we are helping the operations. We are helping with the mentor and guidance. Our board members are extremely smart and educated in areas, and so they help kind of oversee the work that I'm doing with these organizations. Again, I work a full-time job as well. And so it's volunteer work. And if you can't see me, I'm doing quotation marks, but really it feels like a full-time job because when you're really trying to help, and I mean this, and you really are trying to make a difference, it has to be consistent day to day to day work in order to really move the needle. And that's what this board does. So they're the we for sure. I'm just lucky enough they hang out with me to help elevate the work that we're doing as a team.
And how many do you have on the board?
So right now we have 8 board members, but we have a team of about 13. We have board members that are international, that are local to us and not. We have them in California, we have some in Texas, but we have at least a team of 13 that serves on committees as well. They're not actually board members, but they provide support for different committees.
So Jasmeet, what drew you? Tell us what drew you to want to be on the board for Empower.
Yeah, Jody, you're breaking up just a little bit, so
Oh,
hopefully you can hear me okay.
yes.
Okay. Yeah, so, I will say first and foremost, I mean, you meet this wonderful lady, Amanda, and she's just infectious, and the passion that she has for what she's brought forward is really just palpable. So when I first met Amanda and she shared with me what the mission for Ready to Empower is and about the empowerment program, I was immediately drawn for a couple of reasons. One is, as I shared, I'm a product of immigrant parents. But what I think makes my story unique and kind of what I had the benefit of is a woman who was empowered by mother, where she really felt that it was very important for me and my sister to get educated. And because she was the change maker and she was the catalyst in our life, because she had to push my father a little bit, to be honest with you, to say, no, no, my daughters will need to get educated and it's okay that they're women and that's still equally important. And because that happened, the trajectory of my life changed, the trajectory of my children's lives and the future generations, right? As I said, so I'm here to talk to you about it. So what Amanda has built forward is really spoke to me from that, and that really making sure that we invest in women and we invest in the communities. So that was really, I would say, the catalyst. And similar to what Amanda shared, if you are in a position where you can give just a little bit of your time and a little bit of your skill set, no matter what that is. I play a very small role in this organization, but I'm really excited to be part of it, to make that change, to really help those women that may not have a voice right now, but they find their voice after they go through this program. And one of the things that Amanda, when she talked about the program, that's really unique, I think, what has been built with the empowerment program, it's not just the women that are going through the program itself, it's the women leaders that are also teaching. So you are really like doubling the impact within a community, which I think is just, kudos to the thoughtful way that this program has been brought forward. So for me, it comes back to what the opportunity that I was given that I can pay forward.
And can I just speak to something? It's really interesting how when the volunteers that work for Ready to Empower downplay their part in the work that we're doing, because for anybody who's listening to this recognizes that just to get out of bed some mornings and to try to put one foot in front of the other and to try to find some kind of meaning and then do the things we don't want to do. And then on top of that, really commit to making time to give space to other people at all, if it's 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, or hours, it is so valuable. And I find it interesting because for people to even make this time, even today, what you're doing, Jody, it's important to acknowledge it takes so little to have such an impact on a leader of an organization, but also to the communities that we're serving. So don't be fooled what 15 minutes or an hour a month can do to change the life of a woman running an organization, but also for the people that need it most.
It's interesting, one of the no, I appreciate that. I think it's perfectly put, and we sometimes we don't really understand that time, that minute, that hour, whatever it is that we give to someone or something is truly a gift. My father had a saying, the best gift you can give to someone is your time, because it's not something you can ever get back, and it's not an ROI situation. I know in business, right, our time has to be ROI, but when it comes to this type of thing where you're volunteering and it's a passion and it's something of trying to make a change, there's not, the ROI is the good feeling that we get. But I also, in mental health right now, it's always top of mind, but there's lots going on in the world that is causing a lot of angst and anxiety. And Amanda, I'm just curious, in the work that you're doing, have you seen an uptick in that as well?
In my private practice, I mean, I have a full caseload. I have people on waiting lists because, not even just because I'm trying to act like I'm so fabulous. It's because there's such a huge need all over that people are, even the agencies that are doing their best to keep up with the amount of volume of clients. There's a huge need. I think even after COVID, everything just kind of shifted a lot. The beautiful part is that there is so many options to do things virtually now, which has helped kind of offset some of those gaps in before, but there's a huge need. And I would say within our program, there's a real big need around mental health just in general. Economic empowerment is important, but you'll see when we're talking about that ROI, every dollar, the World Health Organization has acknowledged this, for every dollar that goes into mental health, you get a $4 return in the sense of how it impacts the community, how it impacts the families. And so like there is, in my opinion, a strong ROI that happens when mental health is put into it. And I'm full of statistics. So if anybody needs some numbers, don't worry, I've got them to
See,
show.
she is a math girl. She just doesn't say it.
I'm not
I
a
was
math girl.
gonna
I,
say,
I
wait a
know
minute.
facts. I just can memorize facts.
Yeah, stats are stats though, and those always have numbers involved in them. So
Yeah,
good for
I can
you.
read. I can read. Okay, I got that.
Well, that's great. My reading comprehension as I'm getting older is changing. So that's good that you still have yours. I think it is definitely mental health. Not only though, I think the shift too is that people are more open to going. I feel like when I was younger, and not giving away my age here, but when I was younger, that was a taboo. If you're going to see someone like that, you didn't want anybody to know that. Now, like you said, you've lived your life, you go to you've been in therapy, you are a therapist. I've been in therapy, I'm in therapy. I think having a coach or a therapist is vital because we all take on so much on our shoulders and wear so many different hats and titles that it's very, very important. Jasmeet, I'm curious, in your world and what you're doing, and obviously you're in the pharmaceutical world and you're talking about medications that go out, right? I'm assuming there probably is an uptick in sales for that as well.
Unfortunately, yes, there is, because to be quite honest, exactly what you're saying, we now do understand that yes, it's okay to get that, recognize that our mental health is equally as important as our physical health, and it doesn't have that taboo, right? I think that as a pharmaceutical organization, we don't want to be, yes, we have to make sales, but at the end of the day, what you really want is healthy minds and bodies. So we are, one of the remits, without obviously going too deep into the professional side, is to make sure how do we raise awareness to seek that help and seek that help early rather than be where you are relying upon a pharmaceutical drug to make that impact. So I think one of the things that I really also like about the program and this having this conversation is it's not just, when you talk about community and serving these women, it's not just focused on let's get you the life skills and let's get you the jobs, but because those are needed, but those will run out if your core, as Amanda says, the mental health is the catalyst. If we don't get to that, we're only just kicking the can down the road. So I think recognizing and having that conversation and giving those space for that individual and group therapy kind of comes back to the connections, that we all need. I think that's very valuable.
And I think I just want to say this too, just to speak on this mental health piece. It's the access to it. I think
Mhm.
there's still a lot of cultures that we're working with where it is very taboo, so it's not very accepted. And there's different people who just don't feel as comfortable with it. But if we're providing it to be accessible, then what happens is they get more opportunities to understand what it is and the power of it, right? So if there's a need, we know it's just making sure there's more opportunities for people to have access to having it. Because if when one person gets it in the family and somebody sees a change in them, somebody else buys into it and they're like, wait a second, okay, you are different. And so that's how we can start making more awareness, is by somebody taking the risk and giving it a shot. Again, there has to be opportunities for that though. And that's what we're trying to do here with Ready Empower Ed and with the Ready Empowerment Program, because teachers are another example, and they're so tired. There's so much red tape around them to get the resources they need to be able to provide and show up for their students. And so we're just trying to find different ways to bring mental health to others.
Yeah, and my daughter's a music teacher, so I totally agree. And she's just starting out, and she's already feeling that pressure. So it's definitely starts pretty early. It's a lot more than what people think. A lot of people think that job is an easy job, and it is not. And what they're doing to empower and support and educate, and it's life changing. When you're a teacher, just as all of the jobs we have are in some way or another because of that connection. Amanda, is there a story that you can share with the listeners of someone, you don't have to give the name, but is there something you can share of a success story that you would just love the listeners to hear about your program?
I think for me to answer that, there's probably a variety of them, but what I'd like to share as a success story is that when we originally started this off so many years ago in the very beginning, I think the success stories for me is that, I mean, this is just kind of a kind of a general answer for you, but the fact that the success for me is the fact that somebody could go to a country and be able to find other local helpers who wanted to do good in the community and be able to create a helping model to be able to give back. And not anybody who is an expert in program develop. Everyone who helped develop this with me were people who just cared, and people who said, well, I'll try. I can do it, right? And what I think is the most remarkable thing than just a story of one of the women, because we have hundreds and hundreds of stories of women who've improved their mental health. We have testimonies on our website at readytoempower.org where everybody can see. But I think what I'm really trying to focus on is that if somebody has an idea, if somebody sees a need, you don't have to start a charity. Believe me, it's a lot of work if you want to do it right. But what I'm trying to say is I guess the success story is that if you want to do something and you don't want to just talk about it and feel sad for people that they're in that situation, but you do one little thing at a time and you collect some good humans around you, the success for Ready to Empower is we're still moving and shaking. We are a small but mighty organization. And I think the success is that you don't have to be the smartest to make change happen. And for me, I think that's the success, that we're still here after almost 12 years, moving and shaking. And I think that's, to me, I would say that's the success story.
It's a huge success story. And I think a lot of people have ideas and thoughts and things that they want to strive for. They feel stuck. They don't think they can make a difference. I know I didn't know who I'd have on this podcast. We all, in our own way, at a certain time, have imposter syndrome and feel like, well, who am I to do this type of work? Or who am I to start this thing? What do you tell somebody? You talk about those small steps, but and you talk. You could see the passion you have for people going after the things that they want to do to make a difference and make a change. And I know there's going to be somebody out there listening that says, "Yeah, I really, but I don't even know where to begin. I don't know who would care." What advice do you have for that person?
I have so much advice. I just want to start before I even answer that question is I just want people to know the science behind helping, right, is one of the best treatments for mental health. I know I'm a little biased, so when I work with my patients, I wait a little bit, but within a couple months, I go ahead and trickle in a little bit of that conversation around mental health is improved by giving back. So I just want to sell it as a disclaimer right now that out of all the medical treatments, not for severe mental health illness, obviously, but for people who are lacking purpose and they're feeling confused or lost in life, being able to tap into something that's not about you and it's about other people, it is really, to me, has been the best move on the chessboard to improve people and ground them in their mental health. But before I move on, so I'll move on to your question. I just wanted to kind of say that. But what I think is super, super important in regards to just mental health in general, it's that if we really want to make a difference, I think, and I just want to make sure, I just want to go back to your question. What was your original question? Because I get into, why people should volunteer and how. I got it. I was really in my spiel about mental health.
It was that, and also if somebody's listening and they're feeling very stuck, they don't even know where to begin.
Let me tell you where to start. Anytime I do presentations on volunteering, I tell people, let's just pause for a minute. Everybody take a piece of paper. You don't have to do this right now. Take a piece of paper and write down about 5 things you like doing, like you just like doing, you're good at, maybe you're okay at, but you like doing. Write that down and then put down 5 things you don't like doing. I tell people that you don't have to go volunteer at a soup kitchen if you hate being there, it feels uncomfortable. Look at something you're good at. If you're good at math, if you're good at spelling, if you're good at talking, if you're good at listening, if you're good at sewing, if you can crochet, if you know how to do puzzles, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is that you're naturally kind of good at, people need that. And if people go, well, I don't know, where do I start? I always tell people, hey, there's this beautiful thing called the internet, and there's this beautiful thing called ChatGPT. I bet you could just write in, I have all these qualifications. What would be good for me? My point is, if you really want to make a difference, don't overthink it. Literally ask someone around you, hey, I kind of am good at this thing. I'm wondering if I could use my talents for this. Ready to Empower is another example of that. We have so many needs within the organization, but so many other organizations. So if you care about children, there's organizations who are already invented. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You bring your talents to something that's already happening. I don't know one organization who's not asking for more help. So if you are looking for help, Google that, put in your talents and research, and then also slow down and think, I'm really good at this thing. Maybe I could actually teach somebody to do it. Think of me. Look at Jasmine. Jasmine is teaching me things that she has a background in that I don't have. And she is elevating me as a leader. So are the other board members. That might not feel like the same as helping at a soup kitchen or helping a little kid, but what you're doing is investing into a woman who's volunteering her time too to try to do good in the world. And so there's women like me who also are a sponge and ready to learn. And so for me, I think it's access is there. Spend a little time on the computer instead of on social media, and you will find there is a need always. And if you don't know, just shoot me an email at amanda@readytoempower.org. I will make sure that I can direct you in the right way, even if it's not for our organization, but for another organization. There's a need everywhere.
That
And
that
maybe
that was very kind of you to give that out and
Yeah.
open the door to that. Jasmeet, what were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, maybe I'll add to that just from a personal perspective, right? Amanda and I met through obviously me learning about Ready to Empower, but I did that exactly that. I Googled and I said, hey, I want to help and what can I do? And I came upon this organization and I reached out. And before that, I did lots of different things. I actually was an aide in a teacher's classroom. I helped support on different boards in other ways. So I think you can do, and I like how Amanda says that it's 15 minutes, it's 30 minutes, it's little things. Just keep going, keep finding, and then you end up, and now I have an opportunity to be here, and you just don't know where it leads. I don't think it's you don't have to boil the ocean all at once. Just start because it's a big world and there's a lot to be done out there. And the more we can come together to do it, we're gonna all be better off for it.
Absolutely. It's interesting. So I have a nonprofit as well, and this organization and a bunch of other things that I do. But yesterday I volunteered to help at one of our studio partners' dance recital to be backstage with the kids and help them get on and off the stage and stuff like that. And even today, just feeling like I felt just so good, even though I have a nonprofit and I'm always doing working outside of even my own nonprofit and helping an organization they're for profit, right? But they're working with kids and they're doing great work. It was so fulfilling and having these really adorable conversations with these 4-year-olds that were just adorable. So as you're speaking, I think it's just wonderful because not a lot of people think, oh, mental health, maybe, I'm having a really tough day. Maybe I should go volunteer somewhere, and do something good. And I think that's just such a great so I love that. And you don't hear that very often, Amanda.
And I want to say this, I have a lot of clients I work with social anxiety. They have a lot of fears, and one of the things that I leverage is say, hey, if you're a part of something that's bigger than you, the focus isn't on you. The focus is on like who you're trying to help and give back. So loneliness is a huge problem. And people are very isolated because they feel invisible, that no one cares about them. And what I try to help people do is let people know you're here. So if you don't feel that your regular people every day are noticing you, if you get to be a part of something that's not about you, all of a sudden your talents are seen. And if your talents are, I'm just available to help in any way, that's a talent and that's a need. You start having a little bit more purpose, but you're also not as invisible anymore because you're showing, hey, I'm here. Show me what you need from me. And so I'm just trying to, between loneliness, depression, anxiety, anxiety just with social interactions, I'm giving back. It has such a huge impact. And I want to say this, it's not like every day I wake up wanting to volunteer. Doing this work is a full-time job, but because our team believes in what we're doing, it is something bigger than me that's driving this. At any moment, if this is not working, I will not continue down a path. But because we're seeing it work, we are motivated to keep going, but we also have to take care of ourselves as helpers. And so one of the things I tell the team on the board is like, we're doing the best we can. Some days we can show up, some days we can't. But again, modeling for the team too, that mental health is the most important thing. And if we could all be open and look for opportunities to improve our mental health, because some people can't afford it, volunteering is one of those ways to be connected to people who are like-minded and care.
So I just wrote this down when you were talking because it came to me. So, we talked about a minute ago about that word connection, and I feel like connection is the cure because it all of the things you're talking about is having that purpose and doing something for others so that you have that feeling of fulfillment. That's a connection, and it's that word has so much more depth than what we think, because of the fact that it can change lives. What is something else that you would like to share that the audience may not know about Ready to Empower, Amanda, or anything else about the work that you're doing?
I'll speak, and then Jasmine, if you want to add anything, please do. But I think some of the important parts to know about Ready to Empower is that, again, we are focused on mental health, but I want to be very clear that I think to me, for about over 12 years, we've been able to operate with 95% of our funding going directly to our programs. We do not pay for staffing. So it's a huge, obviously it's not a sustainable model. That's where Ready Empower Ed's going to help initiate that, bring that revenue in for us. But I do think it's important to know that this many people for over 12 years has made space in their day-to-day life to be able to give back to others. And maybe we have not changed the world. Maybe we've not, but we have changed the world for many, many women, for them to have opportunities to make a difference. And I think the thing that everybody really needs to know about our organization is, though we're small in numbers, we are mighty. And I think it's clear when you go to our website and you see our impact and you see the credibility that we've been given by, whether it's awards or just by the humans that keep showing up year after year. That to me is the thing I'd like everybody to know, is that we are mover and shakers. So we do get things done, but not because we're superior, because we're consistent, because we care and we follow through. And I just think those are important things. And that I just want to highlight our team. I think that's more than anything. It's a fabulous team of people. And if you go on our website and check out our board, I do want to highlight them because they're pretty fabulous humans who really do a lot for me as a leader of this organization. I wouldn't do any of this without them.
I think you're a pretty fabulous leader. You know that? I really do. And I think that you're an incredible human. And I think that the work that you're doing and to make a difference is incredible. You're making me tear up. So thank you.
Appreciate your words. I
No,
appreciate the time
absolutely.
today to be able to share this with other people as well, to give them hope that they can do great things and they can hang out with great people and do even greater things.
Yeah. And I think that
And
your
that's
energy,
what she does.
I'm sorry,
That's
Jasmeet,
exactly what she does.
I just wanted to say, I think that your energy is so contagious that I hope that your model is sustainable and goes to that space, whether you decide to stay in the world you're in your full-time job or eventually make the money that you deserve to make in order to do this work in a grandiose way. But no matter what, the impact and the ripple effect that you are having is so incredible. So please never sell yourself short on the size, because I'm just grateful to know you and the work that you're doing. And the energy you have is unique. And I think that people can feel it through the screen when they hear this. Jasmeet, I'm sorry to have cut you off.
No, no, not at all. I was gonna say just exactly that, you know. I joined the organization because of the mission, and I equally stay in the organization because of the leader that Amanda is. She's not only helping us think about the women in the community, but well, I can't tell you how often she sends us a message, at least every 2, 3 days, about how much she is cheerleading for us. And that's how she signs her emails, that your favorite cheerleader. She raises us up all the time. And that's why we are in this organization, to not just serve those women, but really be part of this wonderful community that she's built even for us. So yeah, she's quite the lady, and we all feel it.
Okay, lots of affirmations. I appreciate this. It feels really good. Awkward when I get compliments. I'm working on it, but thank you both for those kind words. It also is nice to hear to keep gas in my tank. I really do appreciate that.
It just goes to show just a kind word a day to someone, holding that door open, whatever it is that we can all do. I go to Starbucks, right? You'll see me have this cup
Yeah.
because the people there, the baristas there, they're so nice. I know them and they make me happy every day. Every day I walk in there and I can't wait to see them. And they're just always bubbly and happy and they're all excited and they're like, your coffee okay? Or how's your day? And whatever it is. And that's how you start your day. We can all do that. It's free.
Yeah. I think this is one of the things I tell most of my patients when we start a session and they're telling me about their life and they didn't want to get up this morning. Some mornings I'll say to them, me neither. It is really hard to be a human. It is really hard to pretend that we can just navigate this all the time. And if everybody was really honest everywhere we went, everybody would understand you're okay. You're not alone. We're just keeping it together. The avatars we show people are not the avatars that are who we really are because we're keeping it together because we're not sure if our society is okay with us having an off day. But what I will say is those people at Starbucks, even telling them, I look forward to coming here every day because you guys just lift me up a little bit. Those little moments where you can acknowledge somebody else, really, it does, like you're saying, way more than people realize. Because when I see people, I always think, man, when they have road rage, I always think, oh, it's just so hard to be human. Go ahead, ride my butt. That's fine on the car. Be angry because I just know it's hard. Something's going on their day that maybe I'm lucky enough not to have. So I just work on changing my perception because I know my internal battle and I assume everybody else has one too. I'm lucky enough to hear people's problems all day long, and that grounds me. You know, for those who don't get to hear people all day in their most intimate ways, I'm letting you know that you're not alone and that it is hard to do this day after day. So if you do need support, I am just putting this in, please look out for local support services for therapy. And if you don't
Yes.
have access to that, there are many online platform now that have opened up so much more options for therapeutic services that take insurance.
Yeah. No, it's everything you're saying. I just am like, yes, yes to everything. I without a doubt. And just meet what you're on the corporate world. And the corporate world is a hard world. I've done both. I've toggled and I still toggle. Um, and so and you're also volunteering. So I kind of want to hear just your side of this too, is that for those who want to do all of these things and it just seems like so much, how do you maintain balance?
Um, I think it's hard because there are times where I feel like I can't get to whatever deliverable I committed to. Then I guess my coping mechanism is around what I can control and what I can't control. So and what's important to me simultaneously. So my commitment to this organization is important. My commitment to my job is important, and really putting those um prioritizing them and keeping perspective of I'm going to do the best that I can because I can't do it all and be okay with it. I'm a mother, so that certainly, you put that in the mix. So you try to just not, as they say, you don't try not to drop the glass ball. That's it. And everything else, and know that there's some that are going to drop and it's just going to have to be okay. So and I go back to kind of the conversation that we're having. I think part of what I get back is this connection through this organization, and it's not me just giving my time. It's so much more that I am gaining every time I feel like I've just given a little bit more that I didn't have to. So that to me, it becomes really important and something that I try to stay true to myself.
And can I say, we have such open communication. So I want to just highlight that with you, Jasmine. That's just a part of you that I think is really a great quality for someone who's trying to work in the corporate world and give back. One of the things that Jasmine does so well is when she's at a point where life has happened, she's not able to get those deliverables done. She can't do the meetings. Something's got to turn. It's this open communication with your bandwidth. I'm a volunteer as well. So I always say we're doing the best we can. And so with that being said, if you're in this kind of world where you're going 90 miles an hour, but you want to find time to give back, you know, even if it's that once a month, you openly communicate where you're like, hey, I want to do this, but this is getting in the way. And then you work with the leader of whatever organization they're working with to figure out what could it look like where you're able to pull out a win and feel good about yourself instead of thinking that, oh, I'm not doing enough. Because anything is good, right? We just need a formula that matches your lifestyle. And so, Jasmine, I just want to commend you because I think you're downplaying also how much you communicate the balance that you need when you need it.
Thank you. I think, quite honestly, I really appreciate that, Amanda. And you create that space for us to be able to do that as volunteers. So, I think I would say that if you are listening and you're a leader of an organization, allow that space because it allows me to continue and not feel like I'm not doing my part. But I tell you, I get so much more. So, that's all the reason to stay and just keep doing more, whatever you can.
Yeah. And I love your favorite cheerleader. I think the way to sign
That's
off,
what she
that's
said.
just I just think that's stuck in my head. I'm going to remember that now. That's really that's important. I'm going to share something, and I would love your take, both of you, on this. And this is important because recently somebody said to me, there can't be any feelings in business. There can't be any feelings in business. It is what it is, and and basically saying, he's got to tell his staff the way it is, exactly the way it is, and they don't like it too bad, that kind of feeling. And I just, would love to get your take on there's no feelings in business, Amanda.
Yeah, I'm more than happy. Now, I am full of feelings. So let me be clear. Okay. I seem to be running two businesses decently with those feelings. But what I will say is I find that a little comical simply because we're emotional creatures. We are emotional beings. And so, listen, we have a very good cortex that acts from logic. But as soon as our emotions and our amygdala, that's that worry part of our brain, gets activated, we're no longer acting like logical people. That's why you see people have outbursts or they get upset. So, like, to not make space for the emotions that people are navigating, I don't find it, again, going back to moving the needle, that you're going to be able to avoid that, because without addressing it, you're not getting to know the person. And when you see, this is what I say, when you see people act hysterical or get really upset or mad, if you've seen it more than once, it's probably historical in nature. If you see hysteria, I always say it's probably historical, meaning that there's deeper wounds. We all come with a culture. We all come with a different background. And if you don't get to know the person and why they feel the way they do, you're not really going to be able to elevate them. And so I do think the more we get to know a human, meaning feelings come with that, we're not going to really get to know how to leverage them in a way that not only benefits the organization or the company, but it really makes the person want to stay with the company. Because most of the time, if you look at the research, people stay for the leadership, not just for the pay. Right. And so I don't 100% agree with that just because we're so feeling it. I mean, look at people all day making impulsive decisions around feelings. I mean, it's just all over the place. So to not slow down and look at that, I just find that would be a really not smart move on the chessboard.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Justine.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, as if I put my employee hat on and when I walk into the building, I can't turn off what's happening outside. I've got to think about, do I need to make a doctor's appointment? Do I need to pick up my son? Do I need, right? So it's not that you only get Jasmeet the worker, you get Jasmeet the person. And if you can't acknowledge Jasmeet the person, then I don't think, to exactly what Amanda said, how long can I really be in this environment? And I think not acknowledging your authentic self in a work environment is really, you're not set up for success, because if you don't recognize me as I am, I'm not bringing forward my ideas, I'm not bringing forward my perspectives. Now I'm going to stay quiet, and guess what? That translates into profit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we can think about it that no, it doesn't, but it really does. Because even if I'm not leaving my job with my feet, if I've checked out, you're not getting something from me that you really should. So I wholeheartedly agree. There's absolutely feelings in business.
And I just want to share this for 2 seconds before every board member comes on to the organization. I do like an EQ questionnaire. So I do the original just for their skill sets, kind of see their personality. And then before I bring them on, I ask them really serious questions about, what do you do when you get mad? What do you do when you feel like I am not giving you enough validation? How do you enjoy conflict? Do you like a text message? Do you like an email? What hurts your feelings the most? I go through all of this because, again, if I don't know the person and how they operate, then I'm not going to be able to work with them in a way that I find. And again, for over 12 years, I've been able to keep really fabulous people, but it's because I know those people, right? All sides of them, not just their skills and talents.
I
So we
can vouch she asked those questions.
yeah.
I believe it. I could vouch, and I've never even seen it.
It was not the interview I had expected.
What hurts your feelings,
I was like,
Jasmine?
I don't know.
That yeah, and so it's interesting you say that. So when I was working for what I call the big box nonprofits, American Heart, American Lung, and I was one of the hiring managers for my department, I would always say, so how do you like to receive feedback? Right? How do you what really gets you jazzed, when we have to have a difficult conversation, but will keep you motivated, right? And they would look at me and be like, nobody's ever asked me that before. No, because it's not one size fits all. We're all originals.
Hmm.
We're all originals. And so it's important to remember that you can't just have one management style for your entire team because it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate you sharing all of this. Is there anything else you'd like to share? I can't believe we're at an hour. We could have stayed on for another hour.
Yes, just a call to action. Anybody who wants to learn about our organization, readytoempower.org, please reach out. You can contact us directly at info@readytoempower.org, team@readytoempower.org. I've already thrown my email out there. So my point is that if you want to be involved in something, you're looking for an opportunity to give back, whether that's on a committee or just a volunteer basis where you do want to do maybe one project, or you are looking for a board membership or an opportunity to be able to give back, please reach out to us. We're more than happy. Also, just putting this out for those of you who are in needing of mental health services, things like that. I do have a private practice as well, but I want to say this to you. There are resources. So if you need assistance with that, Jody can also send me information. I can send you some links for different online platforms that would allow them. They're not part of my business, but it is something to give people just something to chew on in case they are looking for it and they don't know where to start. So
Yes, please send that.
and send you some links for people who might be looking for mental health services that their insurances will cover.
Awesome. Everybody remember readytoempower.org. Empowerment or empower? I see I'm even
Empower, readytoempower.
to empower.org. And I
Uh-huh.
love that Ready is part of the name and it's your last name. I think that's so cool. Jasmeet, anything else that you want to share?
I think Amanda said it well, in terms of being able to reach out if you need help personally in any way. And then certainly for Ready to Empower, we are absolutely looking to get some help. If you have any connections in the schools, if you have a skill set for fundraising, come join us. We are small and mighty, and we are looking to move and shake, to use Amanda's words. And then I think lastly, I'll just say, Jody, thank you to you for creating this platform. We dove right in. You're so kind to put the attention all on us, but thank you for creating this platform that allows organizations like ours, which are small, that doesn't, we don't get the fanfare. We don't get the visibility and the awareness that we can engage in this manner and hopefully, find some connections within your audience. So thank you for doing that.
Yes, absolutely. Great, Jasmine. That was wonderful. Wonderfully said.
You're very, very welcome. And again, Amanda Reddy, Jasmeet Singh, I'm blessed to now know you and have you part of the Changemaker family. So thank you for all the work that you do.
Oh, thank you too. All right,
Thank
we're
you
all
so
ready.
much.
We're all ready.
You're all ready. And I'm going to say what I say at the end of every single podcast. Today is the day you cannot go back to yesterday and you do not yet own tomorrow. So what steps, small or large, are you going to take today to get yourself closer to your goals? Again, Amanda and Jasmeet, thank you for sharing. And everybody, readytoempower.org. Don't forget. Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
To learn more about Ready to Empower, go to readytoempower.org or send an email to info@readytoempower.org. Amanda Reddy has provided us with some websites if you are in need of additional support: psychologytoday.com, inclusivetherapist.com, betterhelp.com, talkspace.com, also supportgroups.com, griefshare.org, calm.com, These are some mental health apps. InsightTimer.com. Then there are crisis and immediate helplines, 988lifeline.org, crisistextline.org, and the trevorproject.org, and veteranscrisisline.net. Thank you to Amanda Reddy for providing us with this additional support.